Before I start the video, can I please ask that if you enjoy this, that you like, obviously make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already, but I'm just doing a little experiment to see whether or not, if you like this video, it makes any difference whatsoever as to how many people see it. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today, I wasn't going to film anything at all. I actually planned on my next video being an October favourite, but I was getting ready today and just kind of pulling things out to put on and thinking, God, I really, really love these products. And I tend to make a little note for my next favourite video if it's stuff that I haven't mentioned in a while and I've still been consistently using, because it's easy to forget the stuff that you use every day, or at least super regularly. And it kind of came to me that a lot of this stuff has been discontinued. I love to recommend things that have been discontinued completely by accident. I'm the worst for it. But part of the reason for that is that I'm not always looking for something new. I tend to use a lot of the stuff that I already have these days, and I try to dig through my collection and use the stuff that I know I really, really love. Because for a long time, that stuff just got forgotten about. That is the nature of YouTube. You just you love it for a while and then it's on to the next. So I tried to kind of reverse that a little bit, and it had, unfortunately, the effect that I ended up recommending a lot of stuff that you couldn't actually purchase. But it just kind of got me thinking, why? Why have these products been discontinued? These were really fantastic products, in my mind, really, really great. I don't think that they necessarily didn't do very well. Some of them were very, very popular. And so why get rid of them? Also, I feel like I talked a lot about my favourites in October, so maybe we can just skip it. And let's just kind of, why? Let's talk about this. First things first, you can actually get this from some random shops. I looked online first ahead of this because this was my main one. Can you still get this? Lorac is still a brand, and it's a brand that I'm not sure you could ever get this particular palette in the UK. I know that Marnie, Miss Gold Girl, we did a swap years and years ago, and this was the thing that I desperately, desperately wanted, and she sent it over to me. Absolutely fantastic. This is like creme de la creme of eyeshadow formulas. If you've never used Lorac before, you can still get Lorac products. It's all, I mean, it's the ultimate palette, really. All mattes on top, all shimmers on the bottom. It's one of those palettes that once you have it, you don't really need another palette. And I've talked a lot about recently feeling that way about the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette. I'm not sure what's going on outside, but every now and then a very loud lawnmower-y sound comes as if it's right outside, and I keep looking and I cannot see where it's coming from, and it gets closer and then it gets further away. It's very loud. I apologise. It's out of my control. I just went to have another look. I swear, I feel like I'm being punked because there's nothing there. It's just a noise that gets closer and then further away. There's nothing anywhere. Is it under the ground? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, this is kind of my current similar palette, not as varied as the Lorac, but actually, if I had to pick between the two, I'd probably still pick this one because for me, it's got the most variety. Very, very light shades, very, very dark shades. It's still got the matte and shimmer selection. But for a long time, this Lorac was my absolute favourite, and I've been using it again over the past month and thinking, why? Why would they discontinue it? And the only thing I can think of is that it's just too great. And it's a kind of similar thing with the original Naked palette from Urban Decay. People were still buying that, surely. I would love to see the numbers on that, because surely people were still buying that. It was a real staple for a lot of people. It was the ultimate perfect, don't need another eyeshadow palette. But that's not particularly great business, is it? They want you to need another eyeshadow palette. So making something that is perfect and you can get so many different looks from is maybe actually working against them commercially. So that is my only explanation for that. I'm actually going to see about purchasing some other stuff from Lorac now. It seems to be more available in the UK because, like I said, I've fallen back in love with that in the past month. You can't get that specifically. You can get the Lorac Pro Palette Soleil, which is kind of a similar vibe. It's just all kind of warm colours. This is on Beauty Bay. It's got all the mattes and all the shimmers. A very, very similar vibe, and it's got really good reviews. So I'm tempted to try something else from the brand. The quality really is fantastic. They've also got some face palettes and stuff from Lorac. Oh, wow. And then there's a Mega Pro from a brand called, or a website rather, called Bareface that's 32 shades, and that is an enormous palette. But the original Pro, maybe it was just too good. The other stuff doesn't really fit within that conspiracy theory. This stuff is like, why? Just why? So I talked a lot about this recently. My favorite Lash Sensational primer. The mascara I love. The primer is absolutely fantastic. The two together gave me the most false lash looking lashes ever. And I'm so angry with myself that when I found out it was going to be discontinued, I didn't go and stock up, because you cannot find it anywhere now. And I know a lot of you feel the same way, because when I said that it was discontinued, you were like, what? There are other people as well that only like this but don't like the mascara, which is weird to me. This was the only primer I've really ever liked, because I found that the other ones don't really cover very well with mascara. You can kind of still see them underneath the white, the whatever. And with this one, I didn't find that, and I thought that it kind of built everything nicely without it looking clumpy. It was just amazing. I don't understand why they would discontinue this. The only explanation for this would be if they were going to bring out something that was similar and they didn't want to compete with themselves. That's the only thing, because it's so good. It's so good. And I wonder if a similar thing is true for this. This is the original Benefit Hello Happy foundation. It's a soft blur foundation, and it kind of gave this, it was a decent amount of coverage. I would say kind of light medium, but buildable. Perfect for what I like you can still see your skin through it, but it's a nice amount of coverage, and it kind of just blurred and perfected everything. So it was like professional built into a foundation. Amazing. And this must have done well, because they then branched out into other Hello Happy formulas. They had a powder, they had a stick, and now they've got a liquid. From what I can see online, some of these ones are still available, and maybe they just didn't want to kind of confuse the consumer, because there's so many different versions. Which one do you get? I know from looking into selling products before, people say don't give too many options, because if there are too many options, then you get kind of decision paralysis. If there are only two things to choose from, then you're more likely to make a decision. If you've got 4 or 5 different formulas of one particular category of foundation, it's more difficult, and you maybe don't pull the trigger and make that purchase. That's the only thing I can think, because this was so fantastic. And again, the reviews that I saw were all pretty positive. So the fact that they've kept the Hello Happy umbrella but got rid of what I considered to be the best formula of the bunch, e.l.f. Under Eye Setting Powder. This was teeny tiny, absolutely miniature, and you probably didn't actually end up paying much less for this than you would for a full size. Surely that makes sense. Like, they want to keep selling this tiny little powder for the same price. If they were selling it, if people were buying it, which again, I don't know, you would think they would want to keep selling it in a small quantity, because they kind of had you over a barrel. It was the most finely milled powder that you could get at that price point. That, in my experience, of all of the ones that I've tried, it was the very finest powder. So if you want something that's going to go under your eyes, it blurred everything so beautifully, but it's not going to cake, it's not going to make anything look heavy. It was amazing. I used this everywhere. I have a torch on the back of my hand right now, because I'm trying to remember if this is one of the ones that was like full of glitter. And honestly, if there's glitter there, it is minimal. Often that is what creates that blurred effect. It's full of light reflecting particles. It's just bits of glitter. So when the light comes on your face, it just kind of like bounces off and everything just looks blurred and beautiful. But then under direct light, you get sparkle, not necessarily what you're looking for. I don't think that that was one of those ones that did that. And in my memory, I felt like I would just buy that for the rest of my life. That was really good stuff. Looking online, I'm kind of scrolling. All of the reviews are like 4+ stars. Why did they get rid of it? Why? I can't see that it's been replaced by another product in the line. I've tried their regular kind of HD powders. I didn't find them to be quite as nice. So I just wonder, do you remember this? Soap & Glory Solar Powder, one of the best bronzers ever made at this price point. It still is in my collection. Fantastic. It's got a matte bronzer on one side, a kind of shimmery bronzer on the other side. Do you know what this reminds me of? This is from way back when. If you remember, like from way back when I first started on YouTube, and there will be a small percentage of you that will remember this particular product, the Miners Bronzer Blusher Blend. It's got that kind of vibe, right? So it's got like a shimmery side and a matte side, and together they make this just slightly, I mean, you really need to kind of build it up with a brush, but this slight, kind of a very light bronze that had such a beautiful sheen. It had like an hourglass quality to it. I don't know whether or not it came in different shades, so maybe that was the issue, because it is very light. but this is just called bronzer, so maybe it didn't. But just build it up, build it up, build it up, much like that Miners bronzer blusher blend. It had more of a kind of, what I refer to as a Lauren Conrad California sun-kissed glow. You just kind of, oh, little bit of bronze, mostly glow, just very kind of healthy looking. Why would they get rid of that? Looking online now, they've got something called Soap and Glory Glow and Dew It. So it's supposed to be like go and do it, right? Glow and Dew It pressed highlighting powder, which looks like it's supposed to be a similar product. It's more just like a shimmery bronze, all one. I don't think it's going to be the same. I haven't actually seen this in person yet, but I'm going to have to go and swatch it just to see. I just know from looking at this kind of crushed piece of it, it just looks frosty to me. I mean, the reviews look really good. One of the reviews actually does say you have to use it sparingly or you'll end up looking like a metallic throwback from the 80s. That is what I suspected. That never happened with Solar Powder last product. And let me just Google, I know I've Googled this before, but let me just double, triple, quadruple check. Yes, this has been discontinued, but you can still find random shades of it online. So the NARS Velvet Lip Glide is one of my all-time favourite lip products, and I wish I'd bought more of them in different shades. This one is Bound. It's kind of, I'm wearing it right now, it's like a mauvey, neutral, beautiful shade. It's perfect, it's perfect. It goes on and it's like a hybrid between a liquid lip and a gloss. It's like thinner, it's thinner than a liquid lip. It's almost impossible to describe, honestly, because it's almost like a balm, I would say. Once you put it on, it's almost like a tinted balm. And as it wears away, the gloss kind of dies down. And then you've just got this, what again, some of you will recognize from previous videos, a TV lip. It's that not really glossy, not obviously, definitely not dry, not too kind of opaque. It just looks soft and dewy, always moist, very balmy. I am absolutely convinced that on TV, just between every single scene, between every single take, they're just retouching with a lipstick and a balm mixed together, because that's the only thing that it can be. It just always looks perfect. That's this. It's like a lip balm lipstick, but in a completely unique formula. And as I say, as it dries down, it just looks even better than when you first put it on in the first place. And what I am asking you is why? I'm kind of really hoping that one of you, some of you, will know the answers to some of these questions, because I'm sure that there are YouTube people out there that kind of dive deep into these things and have got really great information. They've done a lot of research. And if you are like diehard beauty YouTube fans, you might have heard people talking about these things and I've just completely missed it. I would love to know if you know why any of these specific products have been discontinued, if they've actually been replaced with other things, if they've been like rebranded, even better. If you know that, oh, well, actually this is still available from the brand, but now it's called this and you didn't know it's the same product, please let me know. Otherwise, just, you know, share your conspiracy theories. I love that stuff. Let's just speculate wildly. Why can't we get these products anymore?